Bang, baby, thing. Greetings, Earthlings. Do not adjust your phone or your tablet or your laptop, whatever you are watching me on today. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Bird. Ooh, I got some. So hold on. Sorry, I was, what is that? That's my bad eye too. And so it don't matter if something get in it because it ain't doing shit anyway. Anyway. So I'm sorry, I got all off track. Let me reset. Let me focus. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space where we set a pressure to blaze. Because the pressure said, y'all ain't so bad. And we said, yeah, fuck you, buddy. Yes, we are. We're coming. Torches and pitchforks and guillotine. Shout out to torches and pitchforks, by the way. I ain't seen torches and pitchforks in a while. We send love to our brethren and our sistren who used to be regulars and now I don't see them no more. But it's cool. I think y'all just be lurking sometimes in the background. Y'all don't be getting in the chat, which is fine. We appreciate all the love. We appreciate any support, and you listening and watching live or later is support. So thank you all. Thank everyone that's checking in with us tonight. I got a good show. At least I think I do. I hope I do. I think I got a little decent little program in store for y'all tonight. Coming up a little later. So if you are, woo woo like me, and you like to burn herbs, now not the herb, of course. Now that goes without saying. I'm not talking about tree, marijuana, pujum kurit marijuana per se. Oh shit. There go Bagheera. Top flight. Top flight. Y'all hear him. But no, seriously, if you burn herbs for spiritual cleansing or for practical cleansing, because herbs, you can actually clean the air by burning certain particular herbs. So anyway, if you have any white sage in your possession, I assure you, after you hear the story today, you will not be purchasing any additional white sage because the cultural appropriation of this native indigenous practice um is driving this sacred plant to damn near extinction. And it's all our faults. Well, first of all, it's the fault of capitalism. I can't even blame this exclusively on white folks because black folks be burning sage. I said, where in Africa? Where on the continent was we burning sage? I'm just saying. But anyway. So I want to get into that because I too am guilty of this cultural misappropriation of the purchase and the burning of this herb. And I'm about to stop. And we're going to get into that a little bit later in the show. So stay tuned for that. Also, really on a fluke, while I was researching a different story today, I came across a story that happened last week. Jacksonville, Florida. Thankfully, everybody lived. But it's I can't even say the shit is wild no more because there's nothing wild about it. It's actually very routine. I want us to take a look at this video of a black woman who, because of mistaken identity, because of racism and fascism amongst law enforcement, this lady was erroneously detained because she fit the description. And thankfully, in this case, police didn't just outright blam on her because she fit the fucking description. So I'm gonna take a look at that story coming out of Florida. But my first story, before I get into it, is going to be about the LAPD and the SWAT Mafia. You guys, we talk a lot about California policing, and I'm not really exactly sure why. Like, I don't have no connection to Cali. I've been out to Cali a couple times. Allegedly, I have family out there, family I've never met. But anyway, I'm fascinated by the leftist movements coming out of Los Angeles that do a lot of work against policing, particularly against the LAPD and the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. And one of the organizations that we talked about a couple weeks ago, Stop LAPD Spying, has some good information that mm, fleshes out more of this LA Times expose that was published here recently. But before I get into all that, gotta say hey to everybody. What's going on, everybody? What's that? Who is that? Swery Furry? What's up, Swery Furry? That's how we say Swery Furry in Maryland, girl. It's Swery Furry. I'm sorry, I'm cracking myself up. My apologies. Let me straighten up here. I see Shirley in the house. What's up, Shirley? Naptown, where you at? I see Donnie in the building, Jersey in here. I see my niece Alicia in here, representing Twin Cities. Oh my God. It's so fantastic that we have people from everywhere. Mostly everywhere. It's a beautiful thing. Hello, Latif. Thank you so much for being here. Shout out to my niece down there in the desert, Valley Girls. Oh shit, they running us money. Will. Start writing it down. Writing it down. Here come my bruv. Infinite content straight out to Philadelphia, IA. What you say, baby? It's time for another edition of Cops Ain't Shit LA. Could be. Could be. This story I'm gonna get into, Infinite Content. Thank you so much for your super chat support. This one is about the SWAT team, aka the SWAT Mafia. They had a little whistleblower come through, but this ain't the first whistleblower story we've even reported about Los Angeles law enforcement. And these whistleblower revelations don't seem to go very far. But we're gonna examine this one in a moment. What's up, DJ Vesper X? I'm glad to see you in here. ATL stand up. I see Wendy in here. And see, some of y'all don't even know where y'all from. Wendy, I don't even know where you from, baby. But big up to you wherever you are. I see Franny Francais. I know what Franny Francais is. PNW. The PDX. Shout out to all the people. Really quick, a reminder. If you want to join us this Saturday for the Around the Fire Disability Support Chat is happening this Saturday. If you're a member or if you're a patron, if you're a member of the channel, a YouTube member that is, and if you are a patron, you will get that information. Anna, would you prefer I publish that the day before or the day of? Anna, let me know how what the scheduling of the posting of the information. But anyway, it's open to everybody. If you're a patron or if you're a member, you just get the information, sort of on some inside VIP, whatever. But if you're a disabled person, if you're a disabled adjacent person, this is a support group for you and really for us. We are a community of of varying abilities, right? We are able-bodied and disabled-bodied alike. So the really the support chat is kind of open to whoever wants to participate. The reason we kind of take you through a kind of some tiny hoops or whatever, it's just because we're talking about potentially sensitive health information and healthcare information. So, I don't want none of them fucking Tucker Carlson weirdos to show up in our goddamn disability support chat. But Anna don't be bullshitting when it comes to, putting everybody in the green room and letting everyone in. Of course, making sure that people are who they say they are. So anyway, I don't believe we've really had any problems with trolls, have we, Anna? I don't think so. Big up to Anna Hart and Mama Lorraine. Anna has the information, I believe, on the Discord channel. I downloaded. I gotta look at the Discord, y'all, because I'm bad at the shit. I'm sorry. My deepest apologies. Andre, thank you so much for your super chat support. You owe me an email. Pardon the delay. Well, that's cool, Andre. I'll be checking my email any goddamn. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that was my Tourette's and flaring up. I'm over here speaking truth out loud. Y'all not supposed to know I don't really check my email. But Andre, I mean, yeah, you can check my email. You can send me an email, baby. Somebody will see it. I'll get to it. I'm sorry, y'all. Again, before I get into the show, they had another story on today about limiting young children, not even young teenagers, middle schoolers, elementary school, everyone that's under the age of 18, about limiting their social media access, right? And their screen time. And every single suggestion, limit screen time. Get your child well versed on media literacy. Don't let your child compare the way they look to the, standard of beauty that they see featured on Instagram. And I said, is someone going to say that adults need to follow this same shit too? Is someone going to say that? Like all this advice for parents about how to be good stewards or how to raise children in this digital world without totally fucking up their mental health, which all the social media, all this shit really tends to do. I don't see that same advice being given out to adults, so let me give it to the adults because I see that shit. I'm like, nigga, that's me. What are you talking about? Like, I feel all the same things. So it's not just for children. These guidelines, I feel as though they are for all of us, especially for you. And I'm talking to me, age and y'all age. If you didn't grow up with this shit. Psst, do not feel compelled to keep up with the well. I guess if y'all parents, y'all got to keep up with the shit. Let me shut up. I ain't nobody's mama, so I'm like, but I look at it, I'm like, all this stuff is detrimental to my mental health as well. We don't have to speculate. We don't have to wonder why the kids are experiencing elevated levels of anxiety and depression. Look at all the shit they gotta check. Look at all the shit they gotta check. They gotta check email, they gotta check Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok. And majority of people are not earning any money from those platforms. So you just checking the shit. You just a product. Fuck that. Anyway, I'm gonna get off my little rant here. What up, everybody? Hi, Noli D. It's Noli D. Noli D's in the building. What's up, Noli D? Noli D, we finna talk about the white sage coming up. I'm sure you have some perspectives on this. Big up to Lucretia. Is that Lucretia? Girl, we be missing you in the mornings on the Remix Morning Show, Lucretia. We would love to see your lovely face grace the place again in the near future. I do hope. So there's that. Okay, let me get started on this story. Because I guess infinite content, this technically could be cops ain't shit. Maybe when we post it as a clip, we will name it as such. But if you could pop up that LA Times article for me. Now, what's interesting, there's a lot of things interesting. So let me try to organize my thoughts here in a little linear way. So the LA Times has released, dare I call it an expose? Because at the end of the day, guys, is this really news to find out that the Los Angeles Police Department SWAT team was using excessive force and covering it up? And that out of the many barrels of rotten apples of those piggy cops, one one person with a conscience, one person, one sole whistleblower come forward to talk about the SWAT Mafia. Is this breaking news at this point? Absolutely not. But I guess all these stories, all this semi-diligent reporting, all this just adds up to the drip, 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 drip. So when police finally get taken over by the community, when we do finally have community control over the police, when we do finally take away from these multi-billion-dollar police budgets and redistribute that same money back into the community, back into the hands of those who most need it, we'll have a wonderful case to stand on. I'm sorry, I had to laugh at the ridiculousness of what I just said. Girl, we got 400 years of evidence. We don't need this little LA Times shit. It's not about to tip the scales over, but it's interesting. It's all good information to know. So this piece was actually penned, if I'm not mistaken, by Kevin Rector. Kevin Rector, fun fact, used to write for the Baltimore Sun, a bit of a propagandist. So I think that the LA kids, our comrades, probably got with that ass. And all of a sudden, here come Kevin Rector writing, writing exposés about the SWAT Mafia. It's funny how that shit works. Hey. I'm fully in support of people shaming others into doing the right thing. So writing the truth about the Los Angeles Police Department is indeed the right thing. So I'm only going to read sections of this because it's lengthy, but it begins talking about Anthony Soderbergh, who was wounded, no longer armed, and positioned precariously on a deep embankment when the Los Angeles police lieutenant, known as Ruben Lopez, radioed to the surrounding SWAT team that the mentally ill man that they had just flushed out from a nearby home remained a threat and must not be allowed to leave. SWAT Sergeant Tim Colomy, Colomey, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. SWAT Sergeant Tim Colomy, who was a crisis negotiator standing next to Lieutenant Lopez in the command center, was stunned, interpreting that remark as he knew it, as he knew other officers would, as a kill order. Comey says, "What the fuck did you just say?" Colomy asked Lopez just before a barrage of gunfire erupted. It was like pop, 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 Colomy recalled. Officers outside just started blasting away. And in a frank and far ranging legal deposition back in March, the former SWAT sergeant, Colomy, that is, offered an extensive, new, detailed support details in support of allegations that he made back in 2020 that the LAPD's most elite tactical unit, which is a model for similar units across the country, is deeply corrupt and controlled by a violent inner circle known as the SWAT Mafia. So, as I'm sure you guys may know, that the SWAT, the concept of the SWAT, the strategic, what the fuck does that stand for? God damn it. Nah, I done forgot. Oh, strategic weapons and tactical, right? Strategic weapons and tactics. SWAT. The whole concept of the SWAT team began in LA. It began, I believe, with the Los Angeles Police Department. And it was an outgrowth of not only the Watts riots in the 60s, but apparently in response to several sniper attacks that had occurred across the country during that same period. So the LAPD was, I believe, the vanguard of the strategic weapons and tactical unit. And what the SWAT team does, allegedly, that again, there's some propaganda in this as well. But what the SWAT team is allegedly there to do is to execute some of the most dangerous situations where people have either barricaded themselves, there is a hostage situation, there is a high risk search warrant to be served, etc. And that's where the SWAT team shows up. But the problem is, well, at least the issue here, as detailed by the whistleblower, Sergeant Colomy, said that there are several people, several lower ranking officers that are members of this so-called SWAT mafia, and several unit supervisors and police commanders there as being complicit in the groups that had significant amounts of power. And so what the whistleblower alleges, again, in the deposition that is over 200 pages long, it talks about how a very small group, literally like a handful of people, um, derived all of their power and utilized it against the community to do harm to people who were experiencing a mental health crisis, and actually did incredible damage to a lot of hold on, I'm sorry, I'm scrolling here because I'm trying to find the place in my article where I was. Oh, okay, here's a good one. So he was talking, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, my deepest apologies. So Lopez, the lieutenant at the onset of the article, who said that the mentally ill person who had basically given up and he gave the SWAT team the order that this person should not be allowed to leave, which is basically a kill order. I don't think that the person was murdered, but Lieutenant Lopez, according to the whistleblower, Sergeant Colomy, bows down to a group of SWAT operators, allowing them to get away with policy violations and protecting them from scrutiny from department leaders. Colomy also goes on to allege that he, in part, was responsible for training members of the SWAT team, but because he, as a crisis negotiator, was trying to impart some de-escalation tactics, that in fact he was undermined at the SWAT school, um and made to feel so in such a way that he was basically rendered ineffective, hence bringing out this whistleblower lawsuit. And it says that the SWAT mafia has been doing exactly terrorism on the community by and large for, I would imagine, since its inception, would be my guess. But the discovery of the SWAT Mafia, or the revelation of the SWAT Mafia, does not come as any surprise to those that live in Los Angeles. In fact, one of the groups that I have talked about here on a previous episode, the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition, did a lengthy, I want to necessarily want to call it an explainer, but let's say some supplementary reporting to what the Los Angeles Times did. So they talked about the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition. It says on their Twitter thread, by the way, and you can find them at Stop LAPD Spying. They're a great follow. It says, our communities have long known that the SWAT's whole purpose is escalation of military style terror. And it says just last year, LAPD said that there's no culture of violence in SWAT. Now an LAPD sergeant who was on the SWAT for over a decade is testifying under oath about the brutality and impunity. And they reference a earlier LAPD, pardon me, an LA Times piece with the headline reading excessive force cover. Oh wait, that's this one. Sorry. The other one says there's no culture. Here it is. Ah, this headline, it reads, it says, no culture of violence at SWAT, LAPD review finds. Of course, when the police investigate themselves, it very seldom do they find evidence of wrongdoing. But the other issue with these particular SWAT members is that some of them were some of the most highest paid city employees in all of Los Angeles. Also, according to Stop LAPD Spying Coalition, it says SWAT originates from Los Angeles, which is another example of how LAPD, which is the vanguard of racial terror, SWAT has always been a counter SWAT was always a counterinsurgency weapon. LAPD's own website boasts about the special weapons and tactics concept originated in the late 1960s in Los Angeles. Hey, that's why I found that someplace else. But wait, where's the one about the Munzies? Because that's important. You guys got to hear the kind of money that these SWAT officers make. I assure it is exceedingly good money. If you just want to go shooting, you know what I'm saying? You do that. It says the LA Times article opens by quoting a 28-year LAPD veteran, their sworn testimony about SWAT Sergeant Ruben Lopez ordering the deliberate murder. My apologies, Mr. Soderbergh was murdered. About the deliberate murder of an unarmed, mentally ill man named Anthony Soderbergh. Will, do you have those pictures? Oh wait, hold on. Let me before I don't pay me no attention. It says Lieutenant Lopez was paid $447,000 in salary, overtime, and benefits in 2022. And that does not count operating costs, equipment, and growing legal liability. So the person in the article who basically greenlit the murder, the SWAT murder of mentally ill person Anthony Soderbergh, this person made or stole, however you want to look at it, $447,000 $30,000 in salary, overtime, and benefits in the year 2022. That doesn't even count the $30,000 worth of gear that they wear every day. It says Lopez is one of two lieutenants who is encouraging a culture of violence and impunity within the SWAT, which cost over $444,000 in payroll in 2022. Oh, so that's one individual. So, Will, pop up the tweet with the images, because what the Stop LAPD coalition did that the LA Times piece did not do. The LA Times piece named a couple of youngins, but they didn't show no pictures. And see, and this is why we fuck with the Stop LAPD spying coalition. Thank you, Will. Thank you. Put them niggas up there. There you go. There go the SWAT Mafia alleged. Let me cover my ass as well. The alleged SWAT Mafia there of the Los Angeles Police Department. One of those individuals' name is Chester McMillie. McMillion. What a name. Now let's pick out which one y'all think Chester is. Chester would be the white, yes. What one of the whites. I don't even know what's white anymore, man. So some of our Latinx brothers and sisters running with the Proud Boys and shit. Do y'all even know what's going on here? I know we're trying to assimilate and ascribe up to the whiteness. The whiteness looks pretty nice. It's comfy. it look comfy up there. But goddamn, niggas is doing too much. I'm sorry. I'm horribly distracted. My deepest apologies. Damn, they put the nigga email up here too. I love it. Come through. Stop LAPD Spying Coalition. Yeah. So Chester McMillion is one of them. Stationed out of the Metro Division with the rank of second lieutenant. Got hired back in 1988. Oh, ain't he ready for retirement? Get his ass the fuck up out of there. So Chester's one of them. Hold on. Let me get the rest of them. Oh, come on. Stop being silly. Enrique Anzaldado. I'm my deepest apologies. Anzaldo. Anzalado. Well, help me pronounce some names. Get on here. I need some Puerto Rican assistance. Come through. No, you ain't gotta do nothing. I'm sorry. So Enrique is one of them. Enrique Chester. Hold on, I'm flipping because like I said, the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition did a good job. Philip Scallion is the other, and then I believe the fourth would be Lieutenant Lopez. And I think it is so important that we encourage independent media outlets and really mainstream outlets, but we know mainstream outlets operate as propaganda, so they're not here to make the police look bad. But just as we needed to know the name of the individual who choked the life out of Jordan Neely on the New York subway last week, his name is Daniel Penny, by the way. The same reason we needed to know his name is the same reason we need to know not only the names of officers whom, according to some of their own colleagues, routinely either murder, violate, brutalize, harass, and inflict tremendous harm on the community. Because at the end of the day, are we going to be able to eliminate police altogether? Maybe not in our lifetime, but what we can do is run a paper trail on these motherfuckers like that. And unfortunately, I know there's a lot more that we can do than that. But I'm telling you, the powers that be and whites who are racist in particular, they don't like when you run a paper trail on their ass. As we talked about here on a previous program, how bent out of shape the city of Los Angeles was that journalist Ben Camacho and the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition published the photos of some of the officers. I wonder if these are even a part of that collection. But to the point that the city of Los Angeles is now suing this journalist and community organization based off public information that the city itself provided. a madness. You could find the clip on the video section of the channel, but you should check that out. But why is Bill Clinton trending? Did he die? I'm sorry. Shh, shh. Kim, stop saying your thoughts out loud. Nigga, I do not care about fucking Bill Clinton unless he is on his way out. Anyway, I just clicked on the thing on Twitter. It ain't talking about shit. Okay, Bill Clinton's still alive, everybody. So put the champagne away. Put it away. Put it away. You can bring your whiskey out because that's something to be sad about. Anyway, so an interesting piece, I would say, from the LA Times regarding the SWAT Mafia. But how does the SWAT Mafia at all differ from the same specialized unit of officers in the Memphis Police Department who murdered Tyree Nichols? How does the SWAT Mafia in LAPD differ from the unit that old girl who was the chief of police in Memphis and previously had been running the other uh fuckboy unit down there in Atlanta of so-called highly specialized officers that also ended up murdering people and brutalizing people? It's just funny how the set-asides, like the regular schleps of the LAPD, everybody gets to have fun with brutalization, but they reserve the big game hunting specifically for specialized units such as the SWAT Mafia. And like I said, you guys should check out this piece. Like I said, Kevin Rector, I don't know him personally, but I'm familiar with his work that when he was writing for the Baltimore Sun. And the Sun, like the LA Times, again, like all these mainstream media outlets, they're basically propagandist rags who will occasionally tell the truth when the evidence is so overwhelming. Like, what the fuck else story can you spin out of this, man? You gotta keep it a buck at some point. You can't run public relations and run interference for the police forever because the evidence of their systemic brutality against certain communities, including disabled communities. I mean, it sounds like the person Anthony Soderbergh, who was murdered by the LAPD SWAT team. Soderbergh, I'm assuming that is a non-black, non-Hispanic person. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but it sounds non-black, non-Hispanic. But it sounds like they were experiencing a mental health crisis. So let's throw the disabled in there with the marginalized groups and communities that all of these law enforcement agencies end up brutalizing and terrorizing. So it's interesting, but I appreciate the supplementary reporting coming from the Stop LAPD Coalition. It's like, well, the Times did a cute piece, but let me tell y'all about the real, the actual factuals coming out of there. So anyway, let me take a quick break. Will, if we could, can we inform the people them about our abortion fund? Ooh, shit! I gotta see if Dev hit me back. So bad at checking messages, guys. I'm bad. And the reason I'm bad is because the shit makes me anxious. It makes me feel overwhelmed. So I don't do it. Oh, fuck. I forgot to turn on the light in the background. Look, you see Donnie's light? I forgot to turn it on. Will, you ain't telling me to cut the light on. I'm just yelling at Will today. Damn. It's just, there was a lot of bad news coming out of the Latino community. I'm taking it out on Will. I said, what's going on? Let me yell at Will because I'm so upset. Anyway, what the fuck was I even saying? I forgot. Was it the abortion fund? I don't even remember. Was it the abortion fund? Let's get the abortion fund up. Thank you, Will. Will's ignoring me. That's what you should do. When I start talking crazy, you should absolutely ignore me. Don't even dignify my bullshit with a response, Will. You leading by example, sir. I respect it. I respect it. And this is a way that we want to lead by example, even if it is just in a small way. Oh, that's what I was talking about. I need to check my messages to see if Dev hit me back because this month we are supporting the ARC Southeast for our abortion fund. It is quickly approaching 1 year since the horrendous Supreme Court decision pertaining to the Dobbs, which overturned Roe versus Wade, in effect rendering women in a dozen or more states as unable to seek the health care that they require if for whatever reason they decide to end their pregnancy or their pregnancy decides to end on its own. Like you still got to get an abortion, whether or not it's you electing into the abortion or no, depending on where you are in your gestation. Should you miscarry, that fetus has got to come out of you some way. And let me say this, and the science I'm about to recount is not accurate. So let me just be clear, because I'm about to try to recall some shit to y'all that may not make sense, especially if you're medically trained. But I said all that to say, so I've shared with you guys, I've been pregnant one time in life. That's it. And I miscarried at 8 weeks. And it was not easy. I know sometimes when I talk about it, I'm a little flippant because it was not a pregnancy that I wanted to come to term to begin with. Um, so when it ended, I was like, cool. But here's the thing: even miscarrying very early, like 8 weeks is super early. TMI, content warning for miscarriage and shit. But I bled for 3 weeks. 3 weeks off of 8 weeks pregnancy. 3 weeks. I said, what the fuck kind of shit is this? However, if I had not had gone to the hospital to seek care because of my blood type, I know y'all nursey people, y'all smarty smarts, the healthcare folks, y'all know this. I can't even begin to explain the reasoning, but because of my blood type, the contents of the fetus could have made me toxically sick. Had I not gotten a specific shot and also had, the medical abortion pills available to expel the contents of the pregnancy. So regardless, like even if you not volunteering for the abortion, pregnancies do not always go to term and they can end at any point in time, and it is difficult regardless of how you felt about the pregnancy. I didn't want the pregnancy. I wasn't trying to hasten the miscarriage. It happened cuz Jesus is on the throne. I said, "Thank you, Lord, that I didn't have to make that decision. That decision was made for me." But regardless, I still had to seek care to make sure that I didn't die as a result of passing a miscarriage. Again, only 8 weeks. So I could only imagine how horrific experiencing a miscarriage later on in your pregnancy, how terrible that must be. So anyway, all that to say, pregnant people need access to all of these services. Period, point blank. That's it. That's it. That's the whole story. So we're supporting the ARC Southeast. The channel supports these abortion funds every month for $50. We ask our fire fam, if you're able, to please match us $5. You can either run us super chats or make a donation via Cash App, Venmo, if you prefer, PayPal also. If you want to send it designated for the abortion fund, just say that, and we will include it in what we give the ARC Southeast. Like I said, Dev Springer, the good the good comrade, who we know via VP. Well, I don't know Dev personally. I've never met him, but I met them, but I've been following their work for a while and very impressed. Very talented documentarian and filmmaker. Also does communications for the ARC Southeast. So either Dev and the director could join us on the Remix Morning Show this week, or maybe we can get them here. But because I'm terrible at checking messages, because I'm just bad at checking messages, I have to start giving out my phone number more, apparently, because that's the only shit I acknowledge. Like, and listen, if y'all are DMing me, you know this already, right? I don't reply to shit, and it's not because I'm too cute. It's because shit is overwhelming. Fucking Instagram, goddamn should be like, you have 25 unread messages from 30 people. I said, Jesus, why? Why? What happened? Did something happen? Why do I have 25 messages? I know why, because I don't check them shits. It's not, oh, see, there we go. Look at Shirley. Shirley ran us some bucks. Thank you so much, Shirley. We will add that. Anna also ran us some bucks for the abortion fund last show. So yup. All right, we're up to 70. But every little bit helps to help out these abortion funds. So there's that. I'm debating on even whether or not I want to get into this next story because I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I didn't eat a proper lunch and I'm hungry. And I have some salmon that I took out the freezer. It should be thawed. And I got some broccoli crowns. I'm hungry. I'm ready to eat. Well, I'm gonna skip that second story. We're gonna go right to the white sage because this is a very important. This is important to everybody, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this white sage potentially going extinct story and the misappropriation of Native American culture in the furtherance of this, new age woo woo. Part of the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I am guilty of this. Thank you so much, Michael, for your super chat support. We certainly appreciate that. Thank you, Michael. This cultural appropriation that I'm always wagging my finger that I'm always chastising the whites about. Woo! My black ass needs to have several seats, guys. I have a bundle of white sage in my living room. Granted, I purchased the sage, I don't know, a couple of years ago and I just still have it, but I still have it. Will, if you could pop up that piece from the conversation. So guys, again, not necessarily new news, but this is ongoing news and this piece actually was written somewhat, oh, this says February. Maybe it wasn't that recent. But regardless, the information still holds. So it says sage, which is sacred to Native Americans, is being used in purification rituals, raising issues of cultural appropriation, which I actually think that headline does not really do the entire issue justice. So hold on, let me get into a little bit of this. It says white sage, which is sacred to a number of Native American tribes in the Southwest United States, has been adopted by both some contemporary pagans and New Age practitioners for purification rites. As journalist Emily McFarland Miller reported in a recent religious news service article, news service article, this was resulting in the overharvesting and shortages of the plant, making it harder for Native Americans to find enough for their sacred ceremonies. In her groundbreaking book, Purity and Danger, anthropologist Mary Douglas illustrates how purity and its maintenance are central to religion. It is a way to keep danger away as well as provide a way to separate the sacred from the mundane. As a sociologist of religion who has studied contemporary paganism, see again, I'm not too crazy about the paganism angle here. Paganism for more than 30 years. I'm aware of how important both contact with the spirit world and purification are in this religion. Contemporary pagans is a set of religions that base their practices, what is known about pre-Christian religions in European, mixed with literature, science fiction, and personal inspiration. I am not interested in the pagans. so so let me cut through this. And actually, let's get to the getting. Will, if you could cue up that piece, that video from the AZ Central and the Arizona Republic. Valley Girls, have you heard about this? I'm certain you have. And in fact, I believe Native nations from California, particularly in Northern California, have been trying to ring up the alarm bells for some time regarding the scarcity now, the somewhat recent scarcity of white sage, because goofy niggas like me, goofballs like me, want to get woo woo and buy some sage and not have a full awareness of how it is harvested, where it is collected from, and the sustainability of the crop that exists. Sage, white sage, was very plentiful throughout the Southwest and throughout California. And now even indigenous folks, especially indigenous folks, actually, are having a difficult time finding it for their ceremonies. So I want us to take a look at this piece. And initially I was trying to figure out like how can I make this clip shorter? I couldn't. I couldn't make it shorter. It's about 3 minutes ish. Yeah, let's say 3 minutes. And it's a worthy 3 minutes. It's a compelling 3 minutes. Um so all right, let's watch that, and I'll come back and say what I need to say. Well, let's check out this piece, courtesy of AZ Central slash the Arizona Republic.
I've asked people, do you use white sage? And they'll say, I don't know what that is. And I'll say, do you smudge? Do you burn the smudge bundle? Oh, yeah, I use that. So they don't know what the plant is. They probably don't know even where it comes from, of course. So, but it's something they know about smudging.
The white sage years back, 10, 15 years back, was much, much taller, much fuller bush. Over the course of the years, it's been dwarfed in size because of the amount of poaching that has taken place up here. And between the drought and the poachers, if it's continued to go much longer, a lot of it will cease to exist.
The people don't know where they get it from. They will sometimes say, I have been assured that it is sustainably harvested. I have been assured they're doing nothing wrong. But they already know there's something wrong because they don't want to really talk to you, and they usually try to get out of the conversation because they cannot verify the source. That potentially means it's poached sage, and we know that by the looks of things, probably 90% of what is on the market, on the internet, or in stores is poached.
What they do is not only destroy any plants in the general proximity of besides the white sage, but they also displace a lot of the wild creatures we have up here because this is a very dry area. These creatures have to fight for their existence, whether it just be food and or water. When you displace these creatures and they die off, you throw off the balance of nature.
The main thing that we would like people to do once they know about this is to stop purchasing white sage, especially if you have to purchase it because you really need it for medicine or something, then you have to know exactly where it comes from. It has to come from a sustainable grower or from a person who is growing it and they're offering it to you.
The white sage has been very successful. It's offered us a lot of peace.
My first experience with sage, California sage, was when I first moved to California. I was 25. And we got together one night and somebody came in with a big pile of sage. And that was the first time I'd ever seen it or smelled it or had any sense of it. And I was absolutely, totally overwhelmed by it. So when we got here, I thought it'd be a cool idea to grow sage. You can feel the energy on this property and it's very beautiful.
If you're going to use any product, especially when it comes to plants that are used botanically or for smudging, you really need to know, where does that plant come from? Is it an endangered plant? Is it being taken from the environment without permits and being stolen? This is getting worse.
Cut. All those are cuts. Cuts here. This stuff should be, look at this. Is a new one, but they won't let it go long enough. They'll just, when it leaves out, they'll cut it. The more you keep cutting it, it's like a tree. If you top it, you've stunted its growth forever. And it's never going to get big anymore. It's going to stay just like this small stuff here. They got to quit cutting it.
This is a very serious thing, and none of us should be any part of that. We should be very careful about how we purchase things and be good consumers and better stewards of our environment, because it is part of our future. And without this environment, the natural...
I'm very disturbed by that. And again, I say I feel personally attacked. Like I don't actually feel attacked, but my ears were burning. You know what I'm saying? And just say this: whatever Native American ancestry I think I might have, first of all, not all Native Americans do sage burning. So, even if you think you got Indian in your family, there's a good chance that the Indian that you think you might be, that might not even be part of their particular tribal practices, right? May not be part of their rituals. So don't just oh, I'm indigenous or I'm 2% indigenous. I can burn the sage. No, the fuck you can't. No, you cannot, and you shouldn't. It should really just be left for real deal indigenous folks, not us pretendos out here. Not a what did they call them? What did my good sisters used to call the anyway, it'll come to me in a second. But regardless, if you have any white sage in your possession, burn it in good faith, but let it be the last bundle that you ever buy, right? I say cultural appropriation is killing the white sage. No, it's actually it's capitalism that's killing the white sage. But the cultural appropriation hastened the capitalistic exploitation of this plant, of this medicine, and that is how indigenous folks view these herbs, as medicine. The good sis Johnny J, even y'all know Johnny J. Y'all should follow Johnny J on Twitter, especially if you don't follow her. A native sister, and she's been on the channel before. We have interviews with her earlier in our channel life. She said that she doesn't accept any herbs unless she knows specifically whom they came from. Like, they take it that it's that big of a deal in terms of herbal medicine. Like, Johnny J says she need to know who gave it, who grew it, and who blessed it, because bad energies and bad juju can be wrapped up in plant medicine if you don't know the origins of what you are accepting potentially as a gift. And I know us non-native people, we don't know all the ins and outs and what have yous, but we should know them, or else we're going to be complicit in being part of the problem. What a tragedy it would be if white sage were to go extinct, especially under the guise of people trying to clear out bad energies, or purify the air, or people who have good intentions, but inevitably they're doing something so irreparably harmful to this plant and to the native people that use this medicine, that it's like, what are we really doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to burn the sage for good shit, and actually I'm helping to drive it into extinction. That's not a net positive. And if native people themselves can't obtain this plant medicine for their spiritual and religious practices, then what are we really doing as non-natives? Like, if we are using the shit up to the point where the people who put us on to the sage, if we using it up to the point where the people who made us hip to the sage and its benefits and its properties, etc., if they can't get it, then what are we really doing? Taking up space and driving something into oblivion. Okay. John Kemper, thank you so much for your super chat support of the abortion fund. There we go, y'all. So now we're up to 80 that I can count. So whoa, thank you so much for that, John. We certainly appreciate your support. Noli D, talk to us, Mamacita. It's real, right? So some of the alternatives to burning white sage. Noli D, if you're in the chat, feel free to amend or correct anything that I'm about to say. Shout out to Desiree Kane. Desiree also had told me a while back of alternatives to burning sage, white sage. And again, I know there's different variations of sage. I know there's blue sage. I think there's even black sage. To the extent that those particular herbs are experiencing over harvesting, I'm not sure. But definitely white sage is under absolute threat. So if you want to do smudging, so-called smudging, and not use white sage, some of the alternatives you can use include lavender, cedar, mugwort, sweetgrass, some other shit. Rosemary. Rosemary is a good one. Cinnamon sticks. I was also looking online to try to find like what are some good alternatives, and s- I don't know if they was white. Maybe they was white natives. I don't know, but you guys know I have to weigh information coming from white people very carefully because sometimes people be appropriating like shit. They don't know what the fuck they talking about. So some white people on TikTok were like, "Oh no, yerba sante and palo santo, like those are good alternatives to white sage." But I think palo santo is also an endangered wood or an endangered plant. And yerba sante, I'm not certain about that either. But I know rosemary is in abundance, lavender is in abundance, cedar is in abundance. So guys, straight up, let we are going to do better. If you know people that do the whole sage burning, please put them on to this information ASAP. Let them know that they are doing more overall harm than they are doing good in their interior space by clearing it of bad vibes with the sage. Like, we're not going to do that. At least, let me put it this way, we are not going to be further complicit in that. Unfortunately, I think that the new age craze or the spirituality craze where people are borrowing different elements from different usually non-white cultures and sort of mixing them together. And again, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of exactly this. um this is something that we are not going to continue to do, and in fact we're going to push against it, and in fact we're going to go even further than that. We're going to educate people in our spheres who do the herb burning and stuff, and to make sure that they no longer do this. Now, the place that I got my white sage from, I'm almost reluctant to name them, because I think that I guess I don't know. I mean, I think that they sure ship sustainably, but do they? Can they? If they still have this particular herb, white sage, available for purchase on their website, are they sourcing it sustainably? Where? I have questions. So what I said that to say, assume, like we just saw there in that Arizona Republic video piece, assume that it's being poached. Assume that whatever retailer that you would be otherwise purchasing your white sage from, assume that they're lying. I'm sorry. I'm sure they're nice people, but assume that they're lying about the sustainability of where they in particular sourced their white sage from. And if we got to call out certain folks, we may have to do that. Not folks per se, but I guess these online retailers or whatever, even if it is specific individuals that is still encouraging the harvesting and burning of white sage. Yeah, we got to call people out because climate change is already about to make a lot of shit extinct. Animals, birds, fucking plants, insects, bees, like a lot of shit's going extinct. A lot of them things we can't really do much about as individuals, but we can do something about our personal consumer choices. To the extent that we stop buying white sage, I don't know if that will overall save the plant. Most importantly, save it for native people who require it as part of their practices and rituals. But let's just not be intentional assholes, basically, is what I'm saying. Like if you didn't know, I have now told you, and now you know. So now if you go out and buy white sage after knowing this, now you are the asshole. Okay. And we don't have, well, we do have assholes, but we're not assholes in that respect. We're assholes for different reasons. My fire fan, we like to be assholes for righteousness, not just for obstinance. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, our assholery usually has, a true good intention behind it, but yeah, no, we're not going to be the dickheads that keep on. Well, I like burning sage. It smells, well, burn something else, baby. That cedar smells delicious. That lavender smells also delicious. The rosemary also smells delicious. However, I will say, if you do have pets, if you're thinking about burning some of these other herbs, do your Googles and just make sure that you can burn the shit around your dogs or whatever. Like dogs and cats, I don't think they can take everything. Some shit fucks with them. That's the scientific explanation. Some shit fucks with them. so so you can't burn everything around the pets, but if you have a pet-free household, and burn away. But yeah, back up off that white sage, everybody. If you got it in your possession, let it be the last bundle that you ever purchase of that specifically. And again, I'm speaking for myself here. I got a bundle of white sage, and I'm going to burn the shit too. But I'm just not going to buy no more because nope, 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 and nope. Oh, that's the show. It's 8 o'clock. I'm hungry. Gotta go put some lemon pepper on these salmon steaks. Woo! And rinse and cut up my broccoli crowns. Yes, it's gonna be a lovely dinner. So I want to thank you all so much. Oh, Valley Girls. Oh, you guys are wonderful. Noli D. Oh, I'm so happy. And big up to all my native people, them. Like, anyway. Allegedly, we are native, me and my fam. I don't think so, though. I think I think we just born as black and white. There's no evidence. I can't find the evidence that we are native. Allegedly, we are supposed to be Pamunkey Indians. If you are from Central Virginia or Southern Maryland, maybe you have heard of Pamunkey. There is a Pamunkey, Maryland, and the Pamunkey Indians have a reservation in Central Virginia. Allegedly, we are Pamunkey Indians, but I don't think the Pamunkeys burnt sage, so I can't even claim that shit. Like, oh, see, I'm Indian. No, even if I was, my people wasn't doing that. So the fuck. Anyway, regardless, Damien, go to bed. But thank you so much for showing up. Don't forget, guys, this Saturday is going to be the Around the Fire Disability Support Chat, 5 p.m. Eastern. If we be looking on the YouTube member section and on Patreon to get the links, etc., etc. I'm so appreciative that you guys stopped by. Thanks for stopping by. I'm so appreciative that you guys stopped by and holler at your homie Tits McGee. And I will talk at y'all on tomorrow on the Remix Morning Show. I think I don't think I'm doing status quo tomorrow. I think the following week. But if that changes, I guess it'd be a secret because y'all know I don't be on goddamn Twitter. I guess y'all just have to find out. Y'all have to tune in and find out. But the Remix Morning Show for certain tomorrow morning. So anyway, on behalf of Will and Molly, thank you all so much for showing up, supporting the thing. Appreciative to all the super chats, especially those that are contributing to our abortion fund fundraiser this month. Holly Horn, thank you, darling. What's up, Michael? Thank you for showing up. Who was these other people? Oh, I've already seen Swerry, Furry, John. Ooh, all the Johns. I'm sorry, that's a Jason. Thank you, Jason. And John. John was in here too. I just appreciate you guys to pieces. So cheers. Thank you. Look at our UK people coming through. That's a beautiful thing. CB, thank you so much for your membership. Latif, thank you for all that you do to support the channel. Latif is the only person I've ever seen gift membership. And that's not a challenge to everybody else. I'm just saying, it's just that is an observation. And I'm appreciative, Latif. Thank you for helping us grow our membership in that way. So anyway, guys, let me get the fuck out of here. I'm hungry. Donnie, I see you. All right, I'm going to see y'all. All right, y'all. Why not learn? Love y'all. Yipper 99. Thank y'all. Thank you. All right, I'm gone. See y'all later. Bye-bye. Hungry. I'm hungry.